What's going on, guys? This is a Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for another live stream. I am doing this video to give some of my preview and predictions for next week's WWE Superstar Shakeup, as both Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan will be on. I heard rumors say that it will start on Raw on Monday night and it will end on Smackdown Live on Tuesday night. So I just want to make a video. I went through the rosters and separated them out into categories. I felt it was easier for me to talk about it that way. And I'm going to go through each superstar and just say if I can see them being traded to Raw or SmackDown, or if I think they should stay. I'm going to be honest, though. This week shows me they were great, but it had me very confused on what to predict for the upcoming pay-per-views. That's why I have not done any of my predicted match cards for Payback or a Backlash takes place in May, the next two pay-per-views for each brand, as well as it was announced that there will be an NXT takeover in Chicago the night before Backlash on May 20th. So I will be doing predictions video for that pay-per-view as well. So again, let's get started. Before I get started, I just want to go over a few rules of the Superstar Shakeup that I've heard rumors of. One, apparently champions are allowed to be traded, which, I mean, that would be interesting if they were, but I really don't think champions should be traded because they, each show needs its own champions or anything like that. Unless you're trying to make a competition out of it or a match where, oh, we get this champion or for this champion or heck, you want to do that. I just think that, especially if it's like the SmackDown women's title, come on, keep that on SmackDown. What sense is that going to make with that title being on Raw, even with the tag team championships? I say the superstars that were called from NXT this week, I say just keep them on the shows they're at. The hype already is there, and I think for the most part, everybody was placed in a good spot. I was hoping the Revival would have gone to SmackDown, but it looks like that they're staying on Raw, which I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with that. But yeah, the Revival, Finn Balor returning, keep him on Raw. Emma, yeah, sure, keep her on Raw. Who else debuted this week on Raw? I can't think of anybody else. On SmackDown, though, we had Dillinger and Nakamura. I have to keep them on SmackDown because the SmackDown, I think, needs more star power, which we'll get to that shortly. But the Cruiserweight division as well, I think just keep it on Raw. I mean, if it goes to SmackDown, I'll be surprised, but they're probably going to stay on Raw, so no one for the Cruiserweight division I'm going to include at all in this video, unless it's somebody on the roster I think should join the Cruiserweight division, which there is somebody I will mention. And yeah, so I separated them out in categories, as in just regular singles competitors for the men, women's competitors, and tag teams. And I'm going to be honest, I think the biggest change we should see in this Superstar Shakeup is the tag teams, because one side Raw, now that they have the Hardy Boys and the Revival and all these other stronger tag teams, I think they will survive with them getting rid of one or two tag teams, which I'll name which two I think should switch brands. As far as SmackDown Live, I think they can give up just one of them, but as of now, including the Hype Brothers who only have just Mojo Rawley right now, since Zack Ryder is hurt, I'm including them. The Raw has two more tag teams than SmackDown Live right now. I mean, that's not including the Wyatt family also, if you want to include them in there as well. So I mean, we'll see, but I think if anything, a revamping is needed from the tag team division to make this even out the depth a little bit. As Raw's tag division this week went sky high with the return of the Hardy Boys. They have the Hardy Boys, New Day, Enzo and Big Cass, Cesaro and Sheamus, the Revival, and even the Club. Even though the Club are just a little and they're not being built the best way they probably should be, but now you have the Shining Stars and the Golden Truth, the only two teams I don't really care about, so they can take one more team in there that's really on the low card side, I feel, my opinion. But let's go through the superstars, and I'll tell you what I think is due with them. So we'll start with the Raw singles men's competitors. Big Show, keep him on Raw. I think some of these guys, Big Show or Mark Henry, some of these guys who are just towards the end of their career, I say keep them on Raw because Raw is more likely going to have people who are just going to get not used as much. And I think, you can occasionally use them here and there. And I think Raw is the best place for Big Show. Bo Dallas, I mean, I want to see Bo Dallas and like Curtis Axel and some of these other guys who are just not being given a chance, be given a chance. Bo Dallas is a former NXT champion. He was doing great down NXT. They bring him up to the main roster doing crap with him. I would be interested to see if he could go to SmackDown, because I would actually like to see if he would team up with his real life brother, Bray Wyatt, or whatever heck Bray Wyatt's name is in real life. That would be interesting to give Bo something to do. You got to believe that he does have the potential. They're just not giving him a chance. But I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I actually would be all for Bo going to SmackDown. Braun Strowman, I'd say keep him on Raw. I would like to see him feud with Brock Lesnar. That's what they were teasing this week on Raw, even though Lesnar was calling out Roman Reigns. He wants to fight the 2 and 23-2, since Lesnar and Reigns are now the only two to defeat The Undertaker. But I'll get to Reigns shortly also, what I think they should do with him. Brock Lesnar, just keep him on Raw. He's the Universal Champion. I don't want to see any champions get moved. Chris Jericho, keep him on Raw as well. He's supposed to be feuding with Kevin Owens, having a rematch at Payback. I've heard rumors, though, that the angle with him being slammed through the table was possibly to write him off the show for now. But we'll see what's going to happen. I mean, I thought he wasn't going to be back after Mania because he's supposed to be going on tour with Fozzy again. I was hoping they would have this feud, though, go some angle that maybe whenever Jericho gets back from his tour with Fozzy, to maybe he can pick up that feud where he left off. That's why I would just love to see an I Quit match between these two, which is Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. But I say keep him on Raw. Curtis Axel, I mean, I wouldn't mind him going to SmackDown, because, I mean, Curtis Axel good talent, but what are they doing with him? They're doing absolutely nothing with him. They turned him face months ago, and some random, one-off feud with Bo Dallas on television, and now he hasn't been on TV in who knows when. I mean, he had that really nice promo he cut whenever Raw was in Minnesota, his hometown, but after that, they did nothing with him. And they, a couple years ago, they were pushing him a little bit when they gave him the Intercontinental title. I believe he beat Triple H. And then after he dropped the Intercontinental title, and then after the whole Ryback thing fell through after Ryback's injury, they've done nothing with him. So, I mean, if he moved to SmackDown, okay. Darren Young, he's injured right now, but just keep him on Raw. I mean, I don't really see them doing much with Darren Young anymore. I just wonder if it wouldn't surprise me if within the next year or two, Darren Young gets released. So, I mean, I'd say just keep him on Raw. Finn Balor, keep him on Raw. Goldberg, he said farewell. Either way, not going to worry about him. Jinder Mahal, don't care. Just keep him on Raw, whatever. Kevin Owens, I've thought about it. I mean, I don't know if maybe you want to see Kevin Owens go over to SmackDown or keep him on. I'd rather have him stay on Raw, because I want Samoa Joe to stay on Raw as well. And I'm very interested to see this rumored new stable with Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, and probably a third member on Raw being added there. I've heard rumors of maybe Finn Balor turning heel and joining it. You never know. There's a lot of other people who could possibly join this stable, so we'll see what happens. But that's just my thoughts. But, I mean, Owens, I think for now, keep him on Raw. I'm happy with that Raw. Mark Henry, same as the Big Show, as I said before. Keep these longer-term veterans on Raw, because they're not going to be used as much. I mean, you can bring them on for a match or two when needed to help put somebody over. Like, Big Show did a really good job putting over Braun Strowman a few weeks ago. That one of the better big man matches I have seen. But same case I say with Mark Henry. His days are numbering down. I like Mark, but keep him on Raw. Don't keep SmackDown for all these other stars to get more time to build, which has been working. Roman Reigns, Mr. This is my yard now. I've heard some back and forth rumors. I've heard Roman Reigns possibly going to SmackDown. I've heard rumors that he's going to stay on Raw. A feud I can possibly see right now is if he would put him on SmackDown, is if AJ Styles stays on SmackDown, or of course if Reigns stays on Raw and then moves Styles to Raw, which I'll get to Styles in a minute. I think a feud that could easily be struck right now, even though they feuded last year for the championship, but that was a different AJ Styles. This is a whole new AJ Styles, an even better AJ Styles than last year. Roman Reigns saying, this is my yard now. Go put him on SmackDown Live and have an AJ say, well, SmackDown Live is the house that AJ Styles built. I still would be very interested, though. Either way, I'd still be interested in seeing Roman Reigns going over to SmackDown Live, though, just because of the good job that Ryan Ward has done building some of these superstars, even giving me to care about some superstars that I was okay with, but afterwards, I appreciate them more. Like John Cena. I mean, I've never been like a huge John Cena supporter, but I've never been a huge John Cena hater. But John Cena being on SmackDown Live, being under Ryan Ward's writing, has actually made him more invested in him than I have been over the past few years. So in that case, I would like to see Roman Reigns, especially in the position he is now. He beat the Undertaker. He's getting all this heat. He beat the Undertaker in a way that looked like he was bullying the Undertaker. He was a freaking heel in that feud. I would be very interested to see, where they would go from here. That's why if you put Roman Reigns on SmackDown Live, and if you keep AJ Styles there, or vice versa, if they bring AJ Styles over to Raw, well, I mean, it would make more sense to have Roman Reigns, feud with AJ Styles. They were still both on SmackDown Live, because because Roman Reigns again could be saying, "This is my yard now," and Styles could be saying, "Yes, but this is the house that AJ Styles built." Just something different, just to freshen up the feud since it feuded last year. But again, that was, a newer AJ Styles. This is like the AJ Styles. I would definitely be interested, though. So that's why I'm making my strong case for Roman Reigns going to SmackDown, which we'll get to AJ Styles when we get to the SmackDown men's singles competitors. And then, of course, we have Rusev. I'm in between because there's not too many people on SmackDown Live I would honestly want to see move over to Raw. Not too many of them. Some, yes, but not as many as Raw superstars I want to see go over to SmackDown Live. But Rusev, if they move to SmackDown Live, okay. If anything, I'd say maybe swap him and Miz and Maurice, maybe, if you want to do that case. That way, because I feel like the both of them could easily, replace each other with how, the Miz with all he's built over on SmackDown Live, especially as how much. Miz has always been like a decent mid-card competitor, but with his mic skills, especially over the past year, they've just like raised him. He's been on one of the best runs of his career, I'd say. So, I don't know. We'll get to the Miz when we get to SmackDown Live, but again, if Rusev goes to SmackDown, I'd be interested, but I'm not gonna have that towards the top of my my preferences. So we'll see. Sami Zayn going to SmackDown, I think, is a high possibility. I think he should have gone to SmackDown last year altogether. Actually, if you remember, I was rooting for a match at SummerSlam, since him and Owens were feuding with each other, and then they had just another singles match at Battleground. I felt they should have culminated that feud at SummerSlam, having them have an I Quit match, and the loser goes to SmackDown, since they're both on Raw. So I think Sami Zayn going to Raw would at least, if Roman Reigns doesn't, like Sami Zayn going to Raw, always help SmackDown get a little more star power with the experience that Sami Zayn has had. And I think, because I also get a little scared, because I've heard rumors that apparently Sami Zayn is not with Joe and Balor now being back, and all these other guys. I've heard rumors that Sami Zayn might start getting lost in the shuffle. So putting him on SmackDown, I think, gives a fresh look for the SmackDown Live roster, and as well as giving giving more star power as well. Let me see here. Samoa Joe, keep him on Raw. Seth Rollins, I've heard rumors of him possibly going to SmackDown, but I'd say not yet. Keep him on Raw for now. Like, he still has business with Samoa Joe to attend to. But I'd say maybe after that, if you want to, somehow maybe give him a SmackDown. But I want to see this feud with him and Joe go down. Sin Cara, keep him on Raw. Put him in the Cruiserweight division. He apparently did when the Cruiserweight division first came around, but now they haven't really done anything with him in the Cruiserweight division for a while. So I don't know if he's still in or not. Titus O'Neil, I don't really care. Keep him on Raw. Whatever. SmackDown Live, we'll go to their men's single superstars. Aiden English, I'm putting him under single stars because, as we've heard, apparently today or yesterday, I can't remember which day it was, his partner for the Vaudevillains, Simon Gotch, was released. So now Aiden English doesn't have a tag team partner right now. I don't know if they'll give him another one or single competitor, or if he'll be doing soon, because they're doing nothing with the Vaudevillains right now on SmackDown Live. Disappointing, because I thought they were a really good tag team down in NXT, and they were getting a tag title push when they pushed for contenders for the tag titles when it first came up last summer. And after that, they just fell flat. They just did nothing with them anymore. So, I'd say keep him on SmackDown, but I don't care unless they want to, trade him to Raw for Curtis Axel, maybe, or even Bo Dallas. I'll take that if that's the case. They're not going to do anything with Aiden English. AJ Styles, as I said before, if they keep AJ Styles on SmackDown, because even though I did a video talking about a turn alert, I'm still not 100% sure if AJ Styles officially turned face. Because in reality, I'm thinking, okay, Styles says he wants to stay on SmackDown Live because SmackDown Live is the house that AJ Styles built. And he pretty much gained the respect of Shane McMahon. So I like to see Styles stay on SmackDown Live because I feel like if at this point, if you would put Styles on Raw, he would be pissed. Like he'd be like, I said I wanted to stay. You know, I feel like it would just kind of blow that whole thing out of proportion, I feel. But again, keep Styles on SmackDown Live because his star power is needed. And if you somehow get Roman Reigns over to SmackDown Live, you know, again, I'm not sure who at this point you would trade for Roman Reigns. You know, have them feud each other because Reigns be the heel saying, this is my yard now. Styles is the face saying, yeah, but this is the house that AJ Styles built, as I said before. So I would like to see Styles stay on SmackDown Live just for star power purposes, but it wouldn't surprise me if they move him to Raw. So I'm just saying, for now, I'm hoping they keep Styles on SmackDown Live. Apollo Crews, I'm in between. They really haven't done too much with Crews on SmackDown Live. They've given him a little bit of a momentum here and there, but not much. But I'm afraid if he goes over the Raw, he would just go over to Raw. He would get lost in the shuffle even more and probably be barely used and probably get released. But I'd still say keep him on SmackDown Live for now because I feel safe with him there. Baron Corbin, he's probably going to win the Intercontinental title off Dean Ambrose sometime soon, either before Backlash or at Backlash. I feel like he probably would have won it if they were at if their match at WrestleMania didn't get pushed onto the pre-show. But I think anytime, any day now, Baron Corbin's being Intercontinental Champion. I like to have him stay on SmackDown Live. He's become a very good asset over there. Bray Wyatt. That's a good one. Bray Wyatt. Keep him on SmackDown Live. I wouldn't want to put him on Raw yet. Kurt Hawkins, again, I don't really care. If they wanted to, swap him with somebody else on Raw like Curtis Axel or Bo Dallas, just to get them over here to SmackDown Live. Even if you want to swap for like Sami Zayn or whatever, go right ahead. But either way, I don't care to do with Kurt Hawkins. There was no point in bringing him back at all. Dean Ambrose. Now, again, here's the thing. If Dean Ambrose wasn't the Intercontinental Champion, I would be all for him going over the Raw. Or going over to Raw. I would be completely fine with that because I feel like, his character has really gotten flat. I mean, I still love Dean. I'm a huge fan of Dean, but I feel like he's just not as credible as he used to be. I feel like he's just running out of a lot of options as a babyface, and a heel turn can really freshen his character. Even though I kept saying for most of last year, I don't want Dean Ambrose to turn heel because who's going to be that top face on SmackDown Live? Well, AJ Styles looks like he's starting to be a face. Shinsuke Nakamura's up on the main roster. Ty Dillinger has arrived. I think that's plenty of amounts. So, I mean, unless Ambrose drops the Intercontinental title next week, if him and Corbin have a match, I'd say maybe just move Ambrose over to Raw, maybe, and have him turn heel over there and feud with the likes of maybe Finn Balor. Who else could you feud with? Face Seth Rollins. Haven't seen that yet. Yeah, there's some possibilities. So, I mean, Dean Ambrose, if he drops the Intercontinental title for some reason out of nowhere by next week, I'd say move him over to Raw. If not, then he's probably staying on SmackDown Live. Dolph Ziggler, I say keep him on SmackDown Live. I think a good feud for him right now would be with the recently called up Ty Dillinger. But I have been a little disappointed with his heel run, though. I mean, I was excited when they turned him heels, getting him something fresh, made him unique, but they haven't really done much with him. And I'm starting to think that maybe that they're just doing this on purpose because they're trying to run Ziggler down to the ground before he leaves, maybe. I don't know, because it just still feels the same, Dolph Ziggler, except just a different attitude. Because he just making more reality now. Ziggler always loses, Why are we going to root for him? So it makes sense there, but it just doesn't seem like there's anything different. Eric Rowan, I'd say he'd probably stay on SmackDown Live for now if he's going to be sticking around. Still being the only Wyatt family member with Bray Wyatt since Luke Harper is no longer a Wyatt family member. Randy Orton turned on Bray Wyatt finally, and he is now the WWE champion. James Ellsworth, I mean, I didn't want to include managers, like, sidekicks. Like, because Ellsworth doesn't really wrestle as much anymore. He's more so just a sidekick for Carmella. But I think Carmella's going to stay on SmackDown Live as well. So I'd say keep him on SmackDown. John Cena taking time off right now for a movie, but keep him on SmackDown Live. I'd rather have him under Ryan Ward's writing than Raw's writing. I think that they've done a great job writing John Cena since he got on to SmackDown Live. Again, a lot more invested than it was before. Kalisto, move him to Raw. Put him on the Cruiserweight division. You're doing nothing with him on SmackDown Live. He's a good talent, but right now he's just really nothing. And I think he would work great in the Cruiserweight division. So move Kalisto over to Raw. Kane right now, or Glenn Jacobs, as we all know him as, is running for mayor in Knox, Tennessee. So unless he still wants to be considered active, I'd say put him on Raw as well. Because I said earlier, the guys like Big Show and Mark Henry, who aren't getting as much time on TV, I'm pretty sure Kane will be the same way. He move him over there, but I leave room for that bigger star power like Roman Reigns to come over, or Rusev may help them come over if they're not going to move over the Miz. Luke Harper, I'm in between because I would be okay with him going over to Raw, but I want to see him feud with Bray Wyatt, which is why, I think Bray Wyatt's going to stay on SmackDown. So I'm in between that. I like to see him, if they're going to keep Bray on SmackDown Live for the star power, I'd say keep Harper there as well so he can feud with Bray somewhere down the line. But if they're going to move Bray to Raw, which I would rather him stay on SmackDown Live, I'd be okay with moving Harper over to Raw as well. The Miz. Again, I have this. What happened on SmackDown Live this past week with Nakamura debut? I don't know if they're going to actually do a feud between Miz and Nakamura. I think Miz is a decent opponent for Nakamura. Even Dillinger, I'd like to see Ty Dillinger feud with the Miz as well. I don't know. I'd say for now maybe keep on SmackDown Live, and maybe eventually either against Nakamura or Dillinger have a loser who leaves SmackDown Live and goes over to Raw match or whatever. And again, maybe you can bring Rusev over then, because I think you can easily switch Miz and Maurice and Rusev and Lana over back and forth. Because if they actually, when Rusev does get back from his shoulder injury, if they actually do give him a chance, I think both of them could easily do the same roles on either show. I think so. I'd say for now, keep Miz on SmackDown Live, and maybe have him eventually go to Raw in a loser leaves SmackDown match against either Nakamura or Dillinger. And these last three, I think I can see staying. Orton with him having the title, plus his veteran, I think with his star power and his experience, I think he could help put over other talent. So I'd say keep Orton on SmackDown Live. Nakamura and Dillinger, again, they were just called up. Keep them on SmackDown Live. There was no, I think Nakamura for the star power, and kind of Dillinger as well for the star power, and for him to be a solid addition to the mid-card title runs as well for the Intercontinental title. There's a lot of people on this list I see faced Corbin Intercontinental title. Apollo Crews, him and Corbin didn't really have the great, but they didn't have the greatest matches in NXT. Ziggler's a heel. Zayn and Corbin, if Zayn comes over, I'll be all in for that. There's several other ones I'd like to see Corbin feud with on here. Harper, I'll see feud with Corbin for the Intercontinental title. We'll have to wait and see. But that's all the singles men competitors for the that what I see happening with them for the Superstar Shakeup. For the women, Alicia Fox probably gonna stay on Raw so she can stay with Noam Dar. Bayley, stay on Raw. I think she'll be the top baby face, as she pretty much is for the women's division. Well, Sasha Banks kind of is still, but we'll get to Sasha shortly. Keep her on Raw. Charlotte, I think she needs to go to SmackDown Live. With how good Charlotte is, and how, in order to keep her as credible, and to keep her having some fresh feuds, I think it's time for her to move over to SmackDown Live. Probably feud with Naomi maybe for the SmackDown Women's Championship, or any of these people. Try to get another feud with her and Becky Lynch. They've been away from each other for a while. Mickey James, if they turn her face, okay. Nikki Bella, I mean, I know she's taking some time off now with her just to give her rest her neck a little bit, but I'd be fine with I want to see a match between her and Nikki Bella. Dana Brooke, I think only Charlotte and Dana Brooke are the only two Raw women I can see. I think should move over to SmackDown and get a fresh start. I mean, even a feud between Dana and Charlotte, I think would work. I mean, they had one match was flat, but I think it could be a way to also help try to get Dana Brooke going. As I keep saying, I think what really hurt Dana Brooke was Emma getting injured last year. And because Dana Brooke was doing a great job as being like the sidekick for Emma, but when it got to Charlotte, it got kind of flat after a while, and it got very inconsistent. Like 1 week they're together, next week you don't see them together. You just never know. It was just getting really weird, very inconsistent. So I still say that maybe just get her some fresh competition, move her over to SmackDown Live as well. Emma, keep her on Raw. Nia Jax, stay on Raw. Paige, we don't know what's going to happen with her. Either way, if she comes back, keep her on Raw, because anything for Paige's moment is fresh. Sasha Banks, keep her on Raw, and I think that heel turn that's been teased and coming soon, she will be the number one heel for the women's division on Raw. So keep her there on Raw for now. I'd say maybe next year move her over to SmackDown. And Summer Rae, who has not appeared at all since the draft last summer, I'd say just keep her on Raw, and just when she comes back, just see what they do with her. They never really did much with it anyways. So for the SmackDown Live women, for what I can see happening, Alexa Bliss, I think she has faced enough out of everybody on the SmackDown women's roster. I think you can move her over I think she's a good candidate to be moved over to Monday Night Raw. Becky Lynch, I'm in between, because I feel like if you do take Charlotte and Dana, move them over to SmackDown Live, I feel like Raw's going to be in need of another face character on in the women's division, because Sasha's probably going to turn heel. Paige will know she's going to come back. Nia Jax, the face, I still feel like to keep her as a heel, keeping her dominant. We'll see what happens. Even though I was a little confused, I thought at first before the shakeup was announced that maybe they're going to have Nia feud with Charlotte, which I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I think it's time for Charlotte to move over to SmackDown Live. But Becky Lynch, I don't know. It's like I'm 50-50. It's like I'd rather have her stay on SmackDown Live. I mean, her feud with Charlotte again, I wouldn't mind, but if she goes over to Raw, I wouldn't be surprised. So she's like on the back burner, I'd say, whether she's going to go over to Raw or not. Carmella, keep her on SmackDown Live. I think she's fine where she is. Eva Marie, I shouldn't have included her on this list because there have been rumors that Eva Marie is not going to get her contract renewed by WWE, so she's gone. It doesn't count. Mickie James. Now, the four women left I need to mention for SmackDown Live, we have Mickie James, Naomi, Natalya, and Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella, keep her on SmackDown Live, because I feel that I've enjoyed her character a lot more since she came back and turned face when she returned at SummerSlam last year. I think this is a lot better than what we got from the heel Nikki Bella, who was pretty much being shoved down our throats with the whole longest reigning Divas champion thing. But I like her character a lot better, so I say keep her on SmackDown Live for now as like a baby face. Naomi, I don't see her going anywhere because she's a SmackDown Live Women's Champion. I think her and Charlotte would be a good feud for Backlash. And then I'd say either Mickie James or Natalya, because of they're more veterans and they're more experienced. They can help put over a lot of these newer stars in the women's division. One of those two, I think, are going to be going over to Raw. First, I was more for Natalya, but I can also see Mickie James going as well. Like maybe try to have another feud between her and Alexa Bliss, maybe, because it does seem like that they're slowly transitioning Mickie to a face role. But I think they could keep her as a heel for a little longer. So in that case, keep her on SmackDown Live. But if she goes to Raw, I'd say fully turn Mickie face. Natalya, just keep her as a heel. I think she would be a good candidate as well to go over to the Raw division and maybe have a good feud with Bayley, or until Sasha turns heel, maybe have them do a program or something. I don't know. But yeah, the only three, I mean, definitely Alexa Bliss go over to Raw. Maybe Becky Lynch, not Carmella. Eva Marie's out. Mickie James or Natalya go over to Raw. That's what I think should happen. Now let's get to the tag team division. As I said at the beginning of this video, I think the tag team division is in major need of a shuffle, because I think that Raw has a lot, especially with the Hardy Boys returning and the Revival coming up and going to Raw. I think Raw has like plenty of tag teams to make a strong division over the next year. Some good feuds to set up. SmackDown Live, not really that much. There's only, well, right here's my list I have for SmackDown Live tag teams. We lost the Vaudevillains because of Simon Gotch's release. The Hype Brothers aren't really a thing right now because Mojo Rawley is just by himself because Zack Ryder's injured. So I mean, right now you just have American Alpha, Breezango, Heath Slater and Rhino, the Usos, and the Ascension, which they're not really doing much with the Ascension. Heath Slater and Rhino not really anything, and Breezango even isn't really doing anything with them either. Which I just wish they would just split them up and have Tyler Breeze be a singles competitor. He deserves to be a strong mid card competitor, but they gave up on him right away. But here's what I think should happen for the Raw side. I'd say keep the Club on Raw, the Hardy Boys, Golden Truth, Shining Stars, the Revival, and Sheamus and Cesaro. Keep them on Raw. If Sheamus and Cesaro weren't a tag team, I'd say put Cesaro on Raw. I mean, on SmackDown. No doubt about it. Cesaro needs to go to SmackDown. I think he would definitely be getting title opportunities if he went to SmackDown Live. But until him and Sheamus split up, I'd say keep them on Raw as well, as they're now number one contenders also for the Hardy Boys Tag Team Championship. Tag titles, for Raw tag titles. I don't know if they're going to do that match at Payback or they're going to do the match before Payback. I'm probably going to put it as in Payback for when I do my printed match card, probably either over the next few days or if not early next week. I will definitely do it, especially after the Superstar Shakeup where things are a lot more straight. But the New Day, actually, I have two situations for the New Day. Either way, somebody out of them is going to SmackDown Live. I think they've done all they could on Raw with their tag divisions. I mean, they pretty much used everybody except for Enzo and Big Cass. So I'd say maybe have either the New Day as a team will go to SmackDown Live, or what if they take like Big E from New Day, just him, and keep Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston on Raw. Put Big E on SmackDown Live, have him turn heel and become the singles competitor. We'll see. I mean, it's a possibility. I mean, if anybody's going to turn on whenever New Day eventually split, it's probably going to be Big E. I think Big E has a lot of great singles. I mean, they're all going to be good singles competitors. Big E, easily be a world champion. I've always felt that Big E ever since he came up. Kofi Kingston was always a solid mid-card wrestler, so I'd say he'd be fine with going for it after the IC or the United States Championship. And then Xavier Woods, I mean, again, he's improved a lot as a wrestler since him and New Day formed. So I'd say either have him in the mid card, or I've heard rumors about maybe Xavier Woods going to the cruiserweight division, which I'd be fine with either one of those. But I'd say either as a team, New Day's going to SmackDown, or just taking Big E and going over to SmackDown. And then Enzo and Cass, I think they should go over to SmackDown as well. There's another team to help them build up the depth. I think that they're also starting to run out of options. I mean, they could feud with the Hardy Boys, but I feel like they'd have to turn heel. And I feel like they were kind of teasing a little bit of heel tactics on Monday when they went there upset that, the Hardy Boys. I won't blame them. The Hardy Boys first came back. And I feel like if the Hardy Boys did not come back, that match at WrestleMania was Enzo and Cass as the win. But I feel like had them go over to SmackDown Live, had them feud with the Usos, and if the New Day goes there, have them turn heel and have the feud we've been waiting for, Enzo and Cass versus the New Day for the SmackDown Live tag titles. So move those two over. And for SmackDown Live, what the heck? I'd say just move Breezango over to Raw. I'm sure they would probably be used more than the Shining Stars or Golden Truth. So I'd say just move Tyler Breeze and Fandango over to Raw. Keep the Ascension over there. Hype Bros, Heath Slater, and Rhino. I think if you do those swaps, having Enzo Cass and the New Day go over to SmackDown, and then SmackDown gets like Breezango, I think the tag team division will be even out in depth again. So yeah, that is pretty much it. That is my thoughts on people who I think should stay and who has a possibility to go to each of the different to the other brand. What are your thoughts and predictions for the Superstar Shakeup, which is coming up this coming week on Raw and apparently going to be ending on SmackDown Live. Another thing too is I don't think any more NXT superstars are going to be called. I think they took enough with Nakamura, the Revival, and Ty Dillinger. I've heard maybe Andrade Cien Almas, but I think he needs a little more time on NXT. And then rumors about Elias Sampson. No, I'm sorry. Elias Sampson is nowhere close to here. If he comes up, it'll be just like what's going on with Apollo Crews right now. Way too soon, or even worse, Dana Brooke. Way too soon. Probably will. He needs more time down in NXT. But that's I don't think the Cruiserweight division champions or any more NXT stars that are still in NXT are going to be called up, or any NXT stars that just got called up. I don't think they're moving any brands at all whatsoever. So that is it. Again, as always, please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content to come. Just stay tuned. As always, as I said, I'm going to try to do my predicted match cards for Payback, NXT TakeOver Chicago, and Backlash next week. I'm working on the next 10 levels of all this in Wolf 3D for those of you who watch my video game Let's Plays. I am going to try to do a video maybe next week or week after with my Horseman brothers, Daniel Gaiza, Ragwan Kenobi, and Gene from BSP Wrestling. We want to talk about our top 10 favorite Undertaker moments, since Taker is retiring now pretty much, or is retired. We'll put it that way. And yeah, just as always, just stay tuned for this channel. Please comment on this video. Again, your predictions. Follow me on Twitter as well at DemandAirboy93. And that is it, guys. I will see you all later. I am out. Have a good night.